From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
Now at 7, high stakes and extraordinary circumstances. The first and only vice presidential debate between Mike Pence and Kamala Harris begins in 2 hours. Thanks for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
I'm Amanda Starantino. The debate is going to be watched closely with 27 days until the election. ABC's Doreen Shaw is in Salt Lake City at the University of Utah with a look at what to expect tonight, including safety measures.
What was initially a point of contention between the candidates has now resolved. 2 plexiglass barriers are now in place on the stage, separating Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence. The Commission on Presidential Debates granted Harris's request to install them following the White House's COVID-19 outbreak. Pence's team at first did not support the idea, but then got on board. A debate before the actual debate for 2 candidates who both have ample experience on the national stage.
And Donald Trump's entire career has been about building.
If we don't get Donald Trump out of office, he's going to get rid of all of it.
Campaign officials say Harris will speak directly to the American people, and though she will not, quote, eviscerate the vice president, she's prepared to go head to head.
We know Mike Pence is a very good debater. He's a very skilled debater, and he gets a lot of credit because he speaks in complete sentences, unlike Donald Trump.
Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi has been playing Harris for Pence's debate prep, telling Fox News he is prepared.
You know, she can pore over briefing books all day long to learn about policies, but he's lived them for the past 3.5 years and done an amazing job for the American people.
Meanwhile, voters making it clear that COVID-19 is at the top of their minds.
I would crawl over broken glass to replace this president.
You know, trust health professionals and trust the president. I don't think he wishes Americans to just die.
ABC News political director Rick Klein says the stakes couldn't be higher.
But they're actually different for both campaigns. Right now, the Biden-Harris ticket is leading. They want to do their best to protect that lead. And for Pence, he knows that he and his running mate, Donald Trump, need to get back in this game.
Another example of why the stakes are so high, according to a recent CNN SSRS poll, 15% of Americans don't know who Kamala Harris is or don't have an opinion on her. 13% of Americans don't know who Mike Pence is or don't have an opinion on him. And he's been our vice president for 4 years. Doreen Shaw, ABC News, Salt Lake City.
Data shows an increase in coronavirus cases in Indiana. Today, the state health department reported an additional 17 deaths, bringing the total to 3,500 since the pandemic began. 1,300 new positive cases were also reported. The state's 7-day positivity rate is steadily climbing. Tonight, it is at 5%. Right now, about 80% of the state's ventilators and 33% of ICU beds are available.
Checking in now, Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Hey, Kevin.
Wow, what a day, Amanda. That's the way to put it. Temperatures from 84 in Indy to 88 in Terre Haute and Bloomington. We're cooling down at this hour, and we won't be as warm during the day tomorrow. Let's talk about how beautiful it's been, and you can see it for yourself. There's the setting sun out in Putnam County. This is my go-to Weather Now camera at this time in the evening. The wind will finally calm down a bit, too. It's been another gusty day. The wind will change direction. It's out of the northwest now. It'll be northeast tomorrow, and that will bring somewhat cooler temperatures into the picture. 70 in Peru to 87 in southwest portions of the viewing area. That's current temperature in Sullivan. Temperatures overnight tonight, they'll be in the 40s. That's quite a drop from highs as warm as the mid to upper 80s. Then we'll be at 52 Friday morning, warmest morning in the 7-day forecast. Lower 60s on Saturday. That'll be as a result of increased cloud cover. There are your temperatures during the day tomorrow. Mid 70s, that's the number. Something to look for in the sky tonight, and when our next chance of rain arrives, it's all still ahead.
IMPD is trying out a new program designed to make it easier to connect with the community when it comes to non-emergency situations. Officers in North District will begin monitoring the Relay app. It's free to download, and you can use it to report non-urgent issues like suspicious activity, found property, and vandalism. Officers can then respond to complaints in real time and send community members messages.
What it really allows for is that direct interaction between a citizen and the officer who works in the area that they live. So you kind of get to know the officers that patrol your area. They get to know the people that live in it. It kind of helps to bridge those relationships and establish that rapport.
IMPD says the app does not take the place of 911 or 311, which is the non-emergency line. Those should both still be used when there is a need for an officer to respond quickly. Fishers police say they have been using this app for about a year. They have thousands of residents signed up, and they say it has helped strengthen relationships between officers and citizens, as well as create safer communities.
A single mother in Anderson says she saw a need for mothers like herself, so she went to work to bring the Mommy Movement Incorporated to life. WRTV's Troy Washington explains how the organization is bringing out the best in the mothers in the Anderson community and what's next for the organization.
People don't understand sometimes you can be working a job making $12 an hour and have 5 kids, rent, lights, and gas. It's a struggle. So if you don't have a plan in place, it could be stressful, and that stress leads on to the children.
Marcia Thompson started the Mommy Movement Incorporated because she saw a need.
I just see a lot of young women who are in need of resources and just even a need of someone who actually just cares.
The cause is something this mother of 2 can relate to.
I'm a single mother myself. My children's father died when my son was 1.5 years old. So, you know, at that point, it was very hard. You know, you didn't know how do you continue on with life with no father for your children, no matter the situation that you are in.
Here, mothers have access to the resources they need to step up in life. Right now, during the pandemic, the organization is even offering bill assistance to those who need it.
We don't help just women without jobs. We like to help women with jobs as well. Let them know that we are here to help you with whatever you need.
There's a food pantry and a clothing closet here, and if mothers have been convicted of a crime and that's what's holding them back from getting a job, Thompson says she may be able to help with that too.
I've been speaking to different organizations who are willing to at least give them an opportunity.
Beyond what this organization has already accomplished since January of 2019, there's even more that they want to do.
I've had 17-year-old girls call me with the baby screaming in the background. They don't have anywhere to go. Mom just kicked me out, or dad or grandma just kicked me out, or my boyfriend just beat me up. So hopefully in the future, we want to be able to open up an emergency shelter here in this city.
Working for you in Anderson, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Well, Mommy Movement Incorporated focuses on women, but also serves whoever needs a hand. Right now, they're available to help with job training, resume writing, and other resources. We've got a full list on our website at WRTV.com.
Pretty much everything is going differently than we thought in 2020, and now that looks to include your holiday shopping. You can expect things to change due to the pandemic.
Plus, you can make your own simple cloth masks, but there are some masks that you want made by the experts. The counterfeit problem you need to hear about before buying an N95 respirator. Still ahead on WRTV.
Welcome back. While the race for a COVID-19 vaccine continues, health experts agree the best way to stay safe for now is by masking up. But scientists have noticed a serious increase in counterfeit masks. Newsy's Meg Hilling explains the risk of fakes and what you should watch out for.
It is a shame that people are faking products like this.
Scientists are finding that supply chains in the U.S. are chock full of counterfeit face masks.
Probably our biggest surprise in this pandemic has been that counterfeiting issue.
Prompted by the discovery of a shipment of counterfeit N95 respirators sent from China to an international charity, the Associated Press collected samples of masks donated to frontline medical workers. Those masks were then sent for effectiveness testing at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
By and large, everything we've seen here is a counterfeit of sorts.
Philip Clapp, a researcher at the University Center for Environmental Medicine, Asthma and Lung Biology, ran a series of tests with his team that included fitting the masks with metal stems while researchers wore them, doing OSHA-required movements in an air chamber with charged particles.
And this allows us to connect a particle counter to this space and measure the particles that are penetrating behind the breathing or into the breathing space.
While some of the masks did all right in testing, most of them scored poorly in efficiency ratings. A rating of 95 is standard with N95 respirators. But some of the bogus masks, they were as low as in the mid-30s. That could be extremely dangerous.
If you're in an operating room and you're using equipment that's not doing its job, you may be highly vulnerable, and that's something that scares us, and that's why we investigate these cases.
Clapp advises the public to pay attention to what mask they use to avoid falling victim to counterfeit ones.
Currently, NIOSH doesn't certify any ear loop mask or respirator at this level. So if you see anything that's clearly labeled as NIOSH N95 and it has ear loops, that's a dead giveaway that it's a counterfeit product.
In the meantime, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to list counterfeit respirators on its website that have been reported to the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. For Newsy, I'm Mag Hilling.
I'm already getting psyched up for this. We've still got about a half hour, a little longer before the space station does a spectacular flyover. How you can see it coming up.
We are all about to experience for the first time a holiday season during a pandemic. Our Alicia Nieves breaks down all the changes you can expect and soon some that you'll see.
The traditional Christmas holiday sales season is pretty chaotic. There's not going to be a whole lot of that chaos this year.
Bill Thorne with the National Retail Federation has gathered key insight into what the holiday shopping experience this year will instead be like.
So it's going to be an entirely different experience.
One of the biggest changes this year is that many retailers have reevaluated Black Friday traditions, starting with staying open on Thanksgiving Day.
There are a number of brands, large brands, that have already announced that they will not be open on Thanksgiving Day. And I believe that that is for a number of reasons, but primary among them is giving those associates and employees an opportunity to be at home, be with their families, to celebrate the most important thing that they have, which is each other.
For retailers that plan to have a day after Thanksgiving Black Friday sale, still a lot of changes.
I don't believe the vast majority will be opening at excessive early hours. I think they're going to greatly discourage people from lining up, and if there are lines, that they will be socially distanced, that they won't be able to just storm the stores.
The number of people allowed in a store will be limited, as many retailers report crowd control will be a huge focus on Black Friday and throughout the season. So much so that some companies like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot are trying to reduce the crowds nearly 2 months in advance by starting major Christmas sales this month.
There are several brands that have indicated that they will be doing Black Friday deals every Friday through Christmas.
Black Friday sales spread over 3 months versus just one day may not only be a safer way for holiday shoppers to shop, but it also may be a way for you to actually get the presents that you want before another round of closures happen due to what we're already seeing, another rise in COVID-19 cases. In New York City, I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Well, we'll start with kind of a bigger view, then get into the finer details here as we go into the weekend. Just want to point out Hurricane Delta has weakened at this point, made contact with the land over the Yucatan, re-strengthens a bit before making landfall along the Louisiana coast. All the forecast models have kept this moving north to northeast after making landfall, a little more to the north, putting the southern half of Indiana in play as far as getting some of the remnants or rain from the hurricane. That takes us out to Saturday afternoon. Becomes more likely we'd see the rain on Sunday. As far as rainfall potential, much less northwest of Indy, more to the south. We'll see how this plays out. You know, from experience over the last 50 days, we've not exactly lucked out on rainfall opportunities. Going, gone. You see just a little glow there on the western horizon as we were out in Putnam County in Greencastle at DePauw University. Temperature down to 70 in Kokomo, 77 in Indy. Temperatures will fall to around the 50 degrees tonight. Okay, it will appear at 7:48 low in the northwest. I'm talking about the International Space Station. It will appear as a bright white light and then pass nearly overhead before disappearing low in the southeast. You'll have about 6 minutes to stare at this and find it. It will be easy to spot. Enjoy it with the whole family. 49 overnight tonight. The sky will stay clear. Tomorrow, a little bit cooler. Won't be as windy. 75. Temperatures still close to 80 Friday and Saturday. There's your hourly forecast tomorrow. Temperatures again with a northeast wind and very low humidity, above average for this time of the year. Just don't get as carried away as today, where we pushed 84 with a record high of 90. Okay, Friday the wind kicks up again, a signal that will draw warmer air in from the southwest. That will boost the temperature Friday and Saturday back close to 80. Fingers crossed for some rain Sunday. Monday and Tuesday will hold on to rain chances. Temperatures still in the 70s. And you see what happens in the middle of next week. We're back in the 60s. It will feel like fall again in the middle of next week.
Looks good to me, Kevin. Thanks. As Hoosiers start casting their ballots through the mail and early voting, we are highlighting some of the key races you will decide on. Indiana's 5th congressional district seat is open, and that includes parts of Marion, Hamilton, part of Boone County, Madison County, Tipton County, Grant County, and Blackford County. Incumbent Congresswoman Susan Brooks is retiring tonight. Our Nicole Griffin sits down with Democratic candidate Christina Hale.
Christina Hale grew up in Indiana.
My parents sent me off to school, expecting me to come home with a diploma, and instead I came home with a baby boy named Owen.
She put herself through college and made her career in the Hoosier State, working for the State Department of Commerce and eventually Kiwanis International.
I got to do a lot of really significant work to support children in public health while there, including launching a program to eliminate maternal and neonatal tetanus in the world.
She left the job she loved to run for the State House after seeing the needs of her community were not being addressed.
As a young single mom, I didn't always have health care coverage. In fact, I lived for years without it.
Hale says she is motivated to ensure people have private health insurance if it's working for them and believes they should be able to keep it.
I think this pandemic has demonstrated that public health is in everyone's personal interest, and we need a public option for those people who don't have coverage today.
She says the federal government lost an opportunity to react in a strategic way to stop the spread of the coronavirus by not giving states and hospitals required PPE.
We could have prevented so many of these illnesses and deaths if we had avoided the politics. And I think having a nonpartisan approach to this kind of public health issue is so important.
Hale says she has also been listening to business owners in the 5th District about the challenges they are facing during the pandemic.
We have to make sure that our small guys, the little guys, get to stand in line first for aid as it comes from Congress. And we do need more aid.
She says in order to improve racial tensions, the African American community needs to hear from its leaders that Black Lives Matter.
Ensuring that law enforcement officers have body cams. I believe it's also clear that we can prevent further tragedy if we end no-knock entry for drug offenses and also ending chokeholds.
She says she is running for Congress because we need problem solvers in Washington and people who can reach across the aisle to get things done.
Every single bill I've ever worked on and passed had a Republican partner working with me.
Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Also on the ballot for Indiana's 5th congressional district is Libertarian nominee Ken Tucker and Republican Victoria Spartz. You can watch their profiles right now at WRTV.com. We'll be right back.
It's expected to be one of the biggest exhibits ever at the Indianapolis Museum of Art at Newfields, and it ties together the past and the future in a thrilling way. Today, the museum announced the exhibit coming next year called the Loom Indianapolis. It will take up the museum's entire 4th floor, and it will be entirely digital. It will use almost 150 high-definition projectors to transform the works of Vincent van Gogh from two-dimensional paintings into a 3D experience unlike any exhibit the museum has ever offered.
It's about that invitation that we're giving to everyone to come and look at art differently, and in that completely immersive world that the Loom will be, where you're standing in a painting as it's being painted around you.
The exhibit will also come with a bar and a cafe that will serve cocktails and food that will have Van Gogh themes. The Loom exhibit is scheduled to open at Newfields in June of 2021.
That sounds like a must-see to me, Mark. This is a golden glow on the horizon as you're in Putnam County, looking obviously to the west. Beautiful sunset during the day tomorrow. Sun is back in full force. It won't be quite as warm, but you can't complain. 75 for the high. Amanda?
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Our next newscast is tonight at 11.